Hi Forex traders, this is the second video for the ICT breaker model simplified. In today's episode, I'm going to be showing you how to identify a bullish setup using the same ICT breaker model, and I'm going to be showing you how to identify bullish trading setups intraday using this strategy, especially on the 5 minutes time frame. Remember, I mentioned that you can use this same model to frame your scalping model when you are doing this between the 1 minute and the 5 minutes time frame. You can call that a scalping model as long as it's within 40 pips range. Then if you are doing this on the 1 hour or 4 hour, you can refer to that as a swing trading model. And when you go to higher time frames, you can even frame these setups into short-term trading and position trading. But today we are focusing on using this same model to do day trading on the 5 or 15 minutes time frame. So we're going to have a quick recap on what this model looks like. Remember, I mentioned earlier in the previous video, if you haven't watched the previous video, make sure that you watch the first video on the best ICT breaker model so that you have an idea on what this video is talking about. So in the previous video, I mentioned that there are two types of breaker blocks. We either have a bullish breaker or a bearish breaker, and in the other video I showed you how to identify bearish setups using the same breaker model, but in this video we are going to be identifying bullish setups with the same strategy. All right, so remember that we identified that there are key things we need to see in order to validate this model. The first is we need to identify a breaker block that is currently forming on the chart. We need to see a breaker block that is currently forming in the chart. So imagine that previously price action had been forming lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and all of a sudden we see price action form shift of market structure bullish. What are we going to do next? And we see that a breaker block had formed. And remember, the criteria for identifying a breaker is that we need to see price action take liquidity below the shift of market structure bullish. What we have here is called a bullish breaker. Then to qualify this setup, we need to first look out for an opposing breaker block that is formed on the opposing side of the chart. We have a bullish breaker here. Do we have a bearish breaker on the opposing side of the chart? Yes, we do. So once we identify that there is a bearish breaker right above and there is a draw on liquidity, maybe an old high, in a case when we're anticipating a bullish price action, then we'll be looking for buy side liquidity pool residing above an old high relative equal highs, and ultimately the drawn liquidity will be the breaker block residing above all of that highs. So we see that there's a breaker block that formed now, bullish breaker, and there's an opposing bearish breaker. This qualifies this setup we are looking at. As price returns into the breaker, we are going to execute our buy, and stop loss would be below the breaker or possibly the other block that is around the breaker block, or further look up around the breaker block for confluence, and we target the opposing breaker as the take profit. With that being said, we are going to be looking at the charts to see a simple setup I just identified, and for me it's a powerful setup that we should look at. So this is the 5 minutes time frame, and this happened, I think this wasn't long. This was on the 24th of June 2024, and you can see that this was the 5 minutes time frame on Euro USD. We see that the Euro USD took a liquidity below that low and created a shift of market structure bullish, leaving that bullish breaker block right here untraded too. So now we have a bullish breaker. If I was seeing this at the start of London session, that is the 7 a.m. This is 7 a.m. All right. At the start of 7 a.m., I see that there's a bullish breaker below, and there is a bearish breaker right above. You see, price action took a liquidity above, shift of market structure bearish here. That is a bearish breaker. What am I going to do? I'm simply going to put up my limit orders at the high of that bullish breaker with my take profit above that high at the opposing breaker. You can see there are a lot of drawn liquidity in between these two range, the old high here, the relative equal highs, and ultimately the bearish breaker. So to add up more confluences, what you will do is to look for fair value gaps around the bullish breaker or other blocks. So if you look at this and you use a Fibonacci to measure that range, you would see that this is also within a deep discount level All right, you see that it's a deep discount level between the low and the high. This is about 79% of the Fibonacci retracement level, so it's a very high probability trade setup. Price traded into that bullish breaker. That is where the buy execution is going to be, and my take profit would be at the opposing bearish breaker. Remember, my stop loss would be below the low of the breaker. This is 5 minutes time frame, so all in all it's not going to be more than 10 to 15 pips stop loss. And look at this, you see that how price action swiftly delivered this trade setup. One good thing about this strategy is that if it is not there, it is totally not it. You don't have to struggle on whether or not this is the trade setup. If it's not as clear as it looks here, that's not the trade setup you are looking for. Guys, that will be all for today's video. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and turn up your notification bell so you stay updated every time I post a video. Those of you looking to join our private mentorship, myself and Solomon King, there's a link in the description of the video for you to sign up on any of the courses, the Elite program, the VIC 75 bread and butter strategy, and even my personal NASDAQ and US 30 trading strategy. You can sign up on any of these trading courses and get access to our premium mentorship community, where you have access to weekly commentary, you have access to trade setups and live Zoom sessions during the week. Guys, until next time, I wish you good luck, good trading, stay safe.